Hello and welcome to my next episode of Spittin' the Truth. I am the Sports Guru 716 and I hope you enjoy. Now, the championship games just ended yesterday in the NFL, but I am going to make my prediction early before anybody else does. And this video is titled Why Denver Will Win the Super Bowl. And this is why this is going to be the video of me explaining why Denver is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm going to be off the cuff with this. I don't have anything to look at. I'm just going to go based on what I saw yesterday and my opinions. So, Denver is a team that is more experienced than Carolina, obviously. Cam Newton's this is his first actual deep run into the playoffs, where Peyton Manning has been known to choke, but also get deep runs into the playoffs and has won a Super Bowl. Now, Denver, with that experience, has an advantage. However, Manning is not the same quarterback he used to be, and I acknowledge that. And I think that'll be the first thing in the comments below. People will say, well, Manning's too old to win a Super Bowl. And I understand that. I understand that people are going to think that. I understand people see Cam Newton and how good he is, and that it's going to be he's been a monster against Seattle and a monster against Arizona, which in my opinion, Arizona more lost that game than Carolina won that game. But Carolina, you know, they're running on a hot streak here, and their defense is good, just like Denver's is, and that's where we're getting somewhere, because the Carolina defense is highly touted. The Carolina offense led the league in points for this year, but the Carolina offense and the Denver defense is going to be what to watch, because I believe the Denver defense is going to stop Cam Newton. And the reason being Von Miller. I believe wholeheartedly Von Miller is going to be the reason that Denver wins this football game. I don't think they have an answer for Von Miller. I think Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware on the outside at the end positions are going to be such a hassle for Carolina that they're going to beat Carolina with their defense. And I know Carolina has a great defensive line too. However, they do not have enough to get through the weapons that Denver has. Now, they got through Arizona, who had Larry Fitzgerald, but nothing else. They got through Seattle, who has Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch. But they haven't had to go against a team with a wide receiving core like Denver. And that is where they're going to have trouble, because I believe that although Cam Newton is a bigger quarterback than Tom Brady, and I understand Von Miller got to Tom Brady, and Tom Brady is not very agile, where Cam Newton runs the ball all over the place and is definitely a tank. It's not about sacking him, it's about containing him. And I know that Denver and Seattle just played 2 years ago, and Denver couldn't stop Russell Wilson. But that's the thing. When you go against Cam Newton, you are literally going to have to be ready to do what you did against Russell Wilson and just contain him. If you can contain Cam Newton, you will have a very good chance of winning this football game, because the offense goes through Cam. And I believe the Carolina Panthers do not have the weapons for Cam to throw the ball to, with the exception of Greg Olsen. I do not believe in Ted Ginn. I do not believe in Jericho Cotchery, and I do not believe in Corey Philly Brown, or whatever his name is. They are very good players this season that have come out of nowhere. Ted Ginn and Greg Olsen have been pretty decent players in their careers, and Greg Olsen's starting to become one of the better tight ends in the league, but he is also their number one option. Take him away. They just beat Gronk. They just beat Gronkowski. You know, Gronkowski got his yards, but I would take Gronkowski, Amendola, Edelman over Olsen, Cotchery, Ginn, and Brown. Like, let's be real here. Let's be real. Denver has stopped a team that was better on offense, and regardless of how many points were scored during the regular season, Carolina was in arguably the worst division in the NFC South. So, based on that, you have to assume that some of those points were scored against a garbage team, and I understand they just scored 49 points on Arizona, and they just crushed Seattle in the first half, lost in the second half. But I'm going to tell you right now, this Denver defense is not like something they were just playing. this defensive line is good enough to get to Cam. Now, taking down Cam is something different, but he's going to have trouble throwing the ball as he has someone on his back. I know he carried that can back 4 yards, but can he carry Von Miller 4 yards? Probably not. And the fact of the matter is this. If they can contain Cam, Cam will have to beat them with his arm, and I don't believe he can. I don't believe that he can, because I believe in the Denver secondary slowing down the wide receivers and Greg Olsen. Now, the next part of this whole video is how the heck is Denver going to beat the Carolina defense? And that is a whole nother thing. I believe that you look at Demaryius Thomas, and Demaryius Thomas is pretty much eliminated. You just eliminate Demaryius Thomas because you just think to yourself, Josh Norman has Demaryius Thomas, that's gone. Goodbye. Well, now you have Emmanuel Sanders. What's your answer for Emmanuel Sanders? What's your answer for Owen Daniels, who just scored a couple touchdowns against New England? What are you going to do about these guys? Now, you look at Peyton Manning, they're like, well, if you get to Peyton Manning, you'll be fine. And that's the thing. That's going to be the test, too. It's going to be a defensive struggle, this game. I honestly don't. I think the winner is going to score maybe 20 points, 21 points, and that's it. I think this is going to be a defensive struggle for both sides. And I believe that, either team could win this game, but I do think Denver will win in the end with experience and with better skilled players. Manning is going to go out there, and he's going to play like he's never played before. And that doesn't mean he's going to play as good as he's ever played before, but he has nothing to lose. This is probably going to be his last game ever. And I think that in itself is going to help Denver, because Denver is going to have that momentum, and they're going to be like, hey, this is Peyton's last season. This is his last opportunity. We're going to try and help him, and we're going to try and let him go out on top, just like Ray Lewis did a couple of years ago. And I think that is awesome. And I think Peyton Manning proved he was better than Tom Brady yesterday, because Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, I don't care how many times Tom Brady's won a Super Bowl. He is 2-3 against Peyton Manning when it matters most, and that's in the playoffs. And Peyton has the records for career touchdowns. He has the records for career yards. He has all that. If Brady can do that and put up all those numbers before he's gone, then hey, maybe we have something here. But right now, that win-loss ratio says Manning wins when it matters most, when Brady and him are against each other. Now, whether, it was the defenses or whatever, it doesn't matter. Brady threw 2 interceptions. Manning Manning didn't throw 2 interceptions. He didn't turn the ball over more than the other team. Turnovers lose you games. You can't turn the ball over. Tom Brady's like, we win 95% of the time when we don't turn the ball over. No duh, man. No duh. You're right. That's a cop-out. Everybody knows that. You lose the turnover battle, you're probably going to lose the football game. You gave the other team another opportunity. And that's why I think Arizona kind of gave Carolina the game. 6 turnovers, that's a joke. You got to almost do that on purpose. Carson Palmer sucks. He sucks. Like, he is terrible. And when it mattered most, he showed it because, geez, he did not belong on that football field. He didn't. 6 turnovers in a game. It's an NFC championship game. It's an NFC championship game. You can't be doing that. You can't have 6 turnovers in a game if you're the Cardinals. And the Panthers just skate on by, and the Panthers and Broncos will go at it, and it's going to be a close game. And I think it's going to be a very good game, but a defensive struggle, like I said. And in this defensive struggle, I think what's going to happen is, in the end, it's going to be who has better weapons to throw the ball to. Because Cam Newton is not, I don't think Cam Newton's going to be able to run the ball in this game. I really don't. I do not think he's going to be able to run the ball. I think he's going to have to beat them with his arm. And I do not think his weapons are going to be good enough to beat the Denver defense by comparison to the Denver offense being able to beat the Carolina defense. So, that's my opinion. I hopefully really gave you a good idea of how I feel about this, and I supported my opinion. And and supported it off the cuff here, because all these videos spitting the truth are going to be off the cuff, because that's the point of it. And be honest with you and how I feel. Comment below with your opinions, and I'll look at them, and we can go back and forth in the comments. And if you have anything you'd like me to talk about in a future Spitting the Truth episode, I will surely read it and more than likely do it. If I have an opinion and I have a decent knowledge of whatever it is, I will talk about it. So, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.